want to delete this whether can I try this indication? Let me run this. Okay, yeah, good. Our stuff is loading. So I would like to delete this weather forecast or let me just leave it. So we are going to have models folder, right? This folder here is where we are going to is a container that we have our entities, right? But in this case, we are going to just have, I think, only just one entity anyway. But in a situation where you have more than one entities, right? We are going to come and add it here. It can be this. Look at what I type. Models. You can call it either models or entities. So here I want to have a class called book. I want to have a class called book, right? This class here is my model, right? So yes, it is my object that entity framework we use. Entity framework is going to use the fields of this object here as a column in our database. Are you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to have an ID. I'm going to have string. I can have book name. I can have string, I can have publisher. I can have string, I can have date published. So this one should be date time. This can be not so disable this stuff here. And this line out. Why I am commenting this line out, right? If you notice in my books model, right? I am having something like underline green or what. So if I hover on it, it's going to show non-nullable property. Book name must contain a non-nullable value when exiting constructor, right? So by default, if you create if you are writing using .NET 6, right, it's going to enable this in your CS Plush. If you want to, although it is good not to comment it out here, right? It is good not to comment it out here. So you just better, you can either leave it in this way, or you can make this thing to be nullable. If you are making it to be nullable, what it means here is that if you are adding information, if you're adding information to this table, right? If you don't pass anything, that is this book name and this nullable. when you are designing your database too. It can be nullable, right? You will notice that if you generate this migration using EF, we are going to see that the scripts being generated will also be nullable here. Something. I'll just leave it as Is there any other thing we are meant to pass here? SBM. Okay, yeah. So this is the object we have here. We have book object, right? All these properties here you are seeing here, they are columns in our database. But just remember that now we don't have any database, right? We don't have any database. So for us to start making use of entity framework, the first thing we are going to do is to install it. And to install it, you will come to the project where you want to install it. You will come to the CS project. This book management here is my CS project, right? Of this particular project. I can have other projects here, but as of now, we only have one, right? So I will just come here and right click, then go to manage, go to manage, and get. I'll come to browse. So the first thing I will install is Microsoft. Tomato. So Microsoft.entity entity framework. Just type it will come out. Yeah. So I can go with this first. I can go with my SQL server. I will install this. I will install the design. I will install the tools, right? Now, if you hover your mouse here, right, you are going to see what you can use this package or this DLL to do. This DLL, it enable add migration, right? If you're adding a migration, it means that you are generating this in scripts you want to use to create the database. So I can come to tools. So you see add migration, bundle migration, drop database, get the context. All these things are what these tools can give to us. I want to install the latest. So as this one is installing, I just wait for it. Install. Okay, but as this one is installing, I can just go and grab my connection string. So this is my connection string here. So I can just grab my connection string. Okay, D is done installing. Yeah. Excellent. I hope that. Okay, yeah, so it has installed here. Got it here. So I will go back and install I'm aiming for SQL Server. I can install the design also. Please, if you are installing this, right, make sure that like the first one we installed, look at the version 7.0, right? If you come and install a lower a version of another, like let's say this design, you are going to have an issue until you will resolve the version, right? So please, if I come and change this to a lower one, I will likely have an issue because this depends on the first one that I installed. This one done. SQL database one. Or for to-do list, the data specified the database.
Okay, sir.
You said?
Didn't get what you said.
For your to-do list, right? Are you asked to use any database, or are you
Yes,
asked
yes.
to
We
use?
have to use. We are asked to use database. We are using SQL. We are using SQL. Microsoft SQL.
Okay. This is design. The other one is just. SQL Server is not installed in It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. I'm moving again. Please let me close this. I don't know why this SQL Server is taking out. Okay, so please let me just install it using. Okay, yeah, it has come up. Okay, yep. Starting to go now. Yeah, so it has installed. Okay, so after installing this, right, you have to come to your app settings and set your connection string here. And if you are setting your connection string, connection string, I can give it a name, default connection.
Hello, Jukes.
Yeah, hello?
Can you please zoom out a little bit? The letters
Okay.
are too tiny for my eyes.
Is it okay now?
It's okay.
Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay now.
Okay. So I want to set my connection string. So I think I have grabbed this. Excuse me, please. Okay, so I think I've grabbed this thing. Let me copy it again. I just disconnect and connect again. So this is actually my connection. So here I have server. Server is equal this. I'll have database. Database is equal let's say bookstore. This okay. There are other parameters you can, right? But I want to just make everything to be simple. To just make everything to be simple. So after we have created our connection string here, and we have already have our models here. Yeah, so listen, remember what I said, that this model is what we are going to use. All these things here are the fields in our model. Now, this ID here is my key, right? If I didn't, there is what we call data and notation, right? Data annotation, we can use it to specify what that is what features of a particular field. Like here, if I want to make my if I want to tell EF to see my ID as key, I will put the property as key here, right? And then import the namespace. So the namespace is coming from data annotations. So EF have already know that this ID here is my key, right? If I want to, there are many of them. If I want to change the default length of this string, That is this photo string. I can use something like max length, right? Max length. Look at what it's taking. You are going to pass the length you are expecting. Like if I want here 50, right? Dash the message, right? So
Is that the error message that will come up when the user exceeds 50 characters?
yes. So
Oh,
so you basically use for a validation, right? You can do your validation here, also here. That is using your data annotation, right? I want to see why this is complaining. It have two overloads to enter into it. So take this out first. Size 50. The other one. So this, if you take an integer of length, then error message is string.
I think it's supposed to be in square bracket. I think the error message is supposed to be in square bracket. I guess the error message is supposed to be in square bracket.
No. So look at what it's taking, right? It's taking an int, right? And another property is called error message. So this should be error message is equal. You can now pass the message that you want to pass. So here, right, you can do your validation at this level. You can do your validation. This is called data annotation. You can also make this author here to be this in required. Required. Yeah, it's meaning that if someone is passing it, if you are exposing this to your front end guy, and the person did not pass this, is going to throw an exception. Why? Because it is this in required here, right? So all these things are data annotation that EF also use when it's building or doing migration. It's going to consider all these things. All these ones here, these ones here are not compulsory, right? But I'm going to do this a little bit here, so that as we are generating, as we are running our this migration, we are going to see how it's going to come out. If I comment out this key here, right? We cannot add to database. We cannot add to our database. Why? Is going to be seeing this book object as keyless entity, meaning that it does not have a key, right? So that is why you need to specify this particular one at this level. Even if you didn't do for other ones, your key is important. So after this, the next, please, any question here so far?
We are good.
No problem, sir. Everything is clear.
Okay. So after this, right? The next thing we are going to have is our context. I can just just create a class. I don't want to put it in a folder. I can call it application context, or you can call it DB context. Let me just leave it application context. And this application context is going to inherit from DB context. So it's going to inherit from DB context, right? And this DB context, you need to import the namespace. Now, look at the namespace using Microsoft.entity framework core. So assuming that we have not installed all these things that we have installed here, is especially this one, entity framework core.tools, will not be able to import this namespace. It will tell you to go, and it will tell you that it's not seeing the namespace until you install it. But since you have installed it, we just need to import the namespace. So after importing the namespace, we are going to have a constructor, and inside the constructor, we are going to pass, as we inherit this context. This context here is what is going to help us to create this migration, to configure anything we want to configure. We are going to we are still going to use it to seed to our database. When I mean seed, to put in some information to our database, right? So that is essence of inheriting from this context class here. So after that, we are going to from here, we're going to have DB context options. Then have options. Base options. I like .NET 6 to make your life easy. So this, then this, I will have public DB sets. Public DB sets. The entity, right? The entity we want to use and generate our this thing. What was it called? Our this in script is book. So I like going and copy the exact thing and come here. I will paste it. Then here I will just bring the namespace here. Then here, what will be here will be my database. Sorry, we be the table that I'm going to use in my database, right? So you know that we don't have a table yet, so I can call this, then get set. Your table will always be in this folder, because it will contain many information, right? So this is not a good name. Let me check my context and see the database, demo database, bookstores. Okay, so I can change this name to books management. management, right? And then come to my this thing and change this to this. Yeah, I think that this is a good name thing. Now, this book here, right? What this thing is saying that if I want to query, if I want to go to this database here, if I want to go to this database here, right, and get this database here, have a table called bookstores, and the columns that's in this table here are all the field in this book. So if I want to query from this database and get all the books, and if I want to get all the books, I will just use my link here query, and query these bookstores and get the list of the books out. So this DB here context here is what we are going to use to generate our this script, right? So after doing this, we come to our startup class. Okay, this is .NET 6. So .NET 6 does not have startup class. So I will come to program.cs, right? I hope that you guys, yes, you must have done it either in your one. So you guys have done scope of software, this thing, what lifetime scope of work.
Yeah.
That is
Security, AdSense, AdScope.
Yes, integrating all these things. So please, so here is where we are going to add our DB, right? We are going to add our DB here. This is .NET 6, so it does not have a startup class. So this does services .rdb context, right? And then I will pass my context class, and my context class here is application DB context. I can say option. I can say options dot use SQL. Now, this use SQL here, we have access to this because we have already installed my Microsoft.entity framework.sql. Assuming that you want to use another database, right, aside the SQL, right, so you are going to still install that. But it will not likely be the same way you register it here. But the difference will not be much, right? So use SQL. Then I will use my configuration. Is there configuration here? This is why I don't like this. I have to.
I think after the lambda expression, there should be a curly bracket.
No. I have seen, I have seen what this. I don't need to have this builder. There's no current year bracket, right? So you know that if we are using .NET 5 or .NET 3.1, right? Yeah, we have a class or we have inside that startup class, we have two methods, right? One is configure service, something like that. One is configure services that takes in iService. Service collection, right? Then you just have these services. Hello guys. I have to. Good evening. Got the camera in the app. Okay. Did I say you don't need you don't need with your loan now? And why did? Why did? So this when I make guy send my answer now, you can just I'm not quite sure, right? I'm not. If they didn't receive the mail, if they didn't receive the mail, because if you check the mail, right? Yeah. If you check the mail, that part of the mail says that I don't know how they put that. I don't know how they put that in English, but it means that it means that that it didn't send the mail to all staff, right? Yeah, they didn't send the mail to us. So I think if you are using your personal laptop, you don't have to install it now. But if you're using their own their own laptop, that's when it's been installed. How far now? Have you installed yours? Huh? Oga, open it so because I think that is tomorrow said that is kind of when they will block access according to that email that after tomorrow, if you don't have that stuff, but they block that is they will knock you out. Yeah. How the world they go now? Say December on the reach now. You that chairman now, I go to ask you. Gavi.
Yes,
So,
sir.
I'm sorry for that.
Problem, sir.
Okay, so yeah, so like I was saying, if you check any project, yeah, that you already have there, you will notice that if that project have startup class, you will notice that in that startup class there is configure service and there is configure. I think these two methods are there. Why this one here is where we can configure all our services, all our DI. why this particular one here is where we can set all our middleware, right? But if you come to .NET 6, right? .NET 6, they have already abstracted all those things that is in .NET 3.5, oh sorry, 1 and .NET 5, right? They have already abstracted all those things. That is in the it is a startup class. So here we have this configuration. So
I think it's Builder.
Yes.
Builder is missing there. Builder.configuration.
Builder.configuration. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Okay, so this we have registered our connection string here, right here. Please, if you are doing this, you just better you just come to application. Sorry, you just come to your app settings. Don't try to type it. Just copy it and paste it there. Yeah, so that you will not make any mistake. Because if you miss any letter here, you are going to definitely have an issue. And if you are setting your connection string, it's not, there must be S here. This S is important, right? See, as if you type it, it will be here come out. So, yeah. So after doing this, the next thing, right, is to run the migration. The next thing is to run the migration, and then generate those scripts out, right? And to run the migration, you come to tools. Come to package manager console. Right? You come to tools, come to package manager console. Now, if you have a different projects here, right? If you click on this drop down, you are going to see list of the projects you have here. But since it is only one we are working with now, that's why we are saying this. And if you add a migration, it's going to add a migration based on the model that we specified here, and also based on the context that we have. So I'll just come and do add migration, right? Then space, space is optional. So here I can give it it's migration name like initial, right? But this is optional. So let me just leave it as this. Okay. Now it now requires us to give it a name. So I can say initial. To start to build, as it's building, let's see. So if you come to your model, okay, so it has added the migration, right? It has added the migration. Now, if you watch, this is the scripts. If you watch, it generated a folder called migrations, right? and inside the folder, we have two .cs class. One is this particular one here, right? Is the one that have the migration. Is this particular one that opens. Why this one here is the one is kind of a snapshot. It's kind of snapshots where it will set the configuration of what we have specified in this DB in this context class. Where is my context class? So here, right? It says here, this particular one now have default configuration. We can use this model builder to extend our configuration here. We are going to see that when we are, if want to see to our database, that is if want to add some things to our database. So these snapshots here, or this snapshots here is going to take the snapshot of your context the way it is. So now it is just in the default state, and that is why we are saying this. Now, if you look at this, if you look at this book here, you will notice that all these things here, right? All these things here are the columns and the data type we are having, right? Now, if you go back to our model, to our book, this model, we specify our ID to be our key. That is why if you come back to this place, we are going to see that this ID here is key, is my key. So this table, this table here that you are seeing here is the one we specify in this place. So anything you put here is going to take the snapshot of it and configure it here, right? This is another field, ISBN with the data type in the data is going to have when we add the when we update this database. So this these snapshots here is going to take the configurations we have in this context. Anytime you generate, anytime you make an update in this place, in this context class, you must do this thing again. You must add migration again for you to get that update. If you don't add the migration, again, you will not get that update. And the same thing applies to your model. Anytime you make a change, like if I come and add another field here, I must add a migration. If I don't add a migration, that field will not be my database. And if I'm trying to insert, it's going to throw an exception. If I'm trying to query the database and get some things from database, is going to throw an exception. Why? Why? Because the field you added there, you did not add migration in order for the database to see it. So that is for the snapshots. Why this initial here? This initial here, right, is the name of the migration. This is specified here, right? When we are adding it, Why this timestamp here is kind of the time, the date for when you added immigration. If you create another migration now, it's going to use the time and date underscore the name. Yeah. So that you can actually go back. You can actually this in row here. You can actually edit this in row back to any migration that you want to use, right? Like you might come here now, right, and make some changes here, and then add a migration, and later notice that you don't still need those changes. So you can easily roll back to your previous this migration. So that is essence of this initial. If we enter it, we are going to see all this, right? This migration builder.create table. So he's trying to create a table called bookstores. And this table have all this field here. All this field here with their data type. My ID here is my primary key. As you can see it here, right? Is my primary key. This author here, I remember that I use I use a editor and notation in this my author field here. I have the maximum the maximum length to be at 50. So that is why you are seeing, where is that author again? So that is why you are seeing the maximum length of 50 here, and it's not nullable. That's why my nullable is false, meaning that it's this required field, right? So if I come and add another thing here, right? Like I said, you will also add a new migration. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, so if you add a new migration here, right, it's not going to update this particular one. It's going to create another initial here. So let's just wait and see. So I want to add another field called, let me just call it title, right? Title. I just added this particular field now. Please, I want to take it down. So I just added this field now. I come back here. I'd add another year migration. So I can just say add title field. That is my migration name. It will start to build. So if you come, if you come here, you will see the first year migration and second migration, right? If you open this, you will see this. This up here, right? This up here is pointing to this one here. If you come here, you will notice that, but if you look at these two classes, you will notice the difference. This particular one here is with the field and every other the type of the type of this data and every other thing. Why this particular one here, right? There is different here. Why this particular one here is trying to tell you what you do. just added a column. Then what's the name of the column? It is entitled. The table, we are adding it to this here table. The type, this. Yeah, no label, false. The default value null. If I want this thing here, right, is being added to this first one. So if I do update database, it's going to pick this one and also, and also up it to this particular one here. If I down it, it means that I want to drop that field that I just added now. Am I confusing us? Or is it clear?
Yes, it's clear. It's clear.
Okay. Okay, so I have added this migration. The next thing is to update my database. If I come to my database, I want to connect. If I come to my database, you will notice that I don't have the database here. So I'll come here and say update database, and it's not case. It's not case sensitive. You can use capital letter, you can use small letter. The connection was successfully established with the server, but an error occurred while doing the login process. Okay, so I am having a certificate error. Oh, I don't like this now. Please, I'm coming. I want to resolve this.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. I guess
Yes,
the connection string, where we declare the connection string, I guess you have to give it, say whether it's instructed or not. Where the connection string is initiated inside the.
I didn't get that, please. Yes.
I mean, where the connection string was initiated, define the connection string inside inside the app settings. Yes, we have to set to indicate trusted underscore connection equals to true. I guess maybe that's why the error message is coming up.
Let me see. So I can have other properties. There's this one called, gosh, I've forgotten. Integrated, yeah, something like integrated.
Integrated security.
Yes, yeah. Thank you, integrated security. And this is good. True. Yeah, okay. So let's see what will happen again. This is talking about SSL. It's talking about SSL. No, please don't.
What's the meaning of SSL? Yes, sir.
That's it?
Yes, sir. What is the meaning of SSL?
Yeah, SSL is kind of how I like to put it. It's systems, security. something. I've went it where it's kind of here networking, how to see a network stuff. I want to see how this is done here. Open Management Studio. Right click on instance, go to properties, select security, under server application, check to server Windows share mode. Okay. So this one SQL service was stored on your server. The status SQL server services server. Posted underscore connection is passed to true. So then it will still fail. It will still fail. It actually established a connection to the server. Let me show properties. I hope that is wrong with you. Which you're talking about.
We need to create the data table first. Maybe we need to create the data table first. I said maybe we need to create the data table first.
No. No, we don't need to create the data. As we update the database, right? Assuming I'm not having these connections on these SSS stuff here, as we update this database, these database here, it's going to use this script here to create the table and the database.
Okay.
So let me see how I can resolve that stuff. So SPS what is this now? Server sets. Okay, so I want to delete this migration. Database. Okay, yeah. So I think we are good to go now. Okay, so hello guys.
Hello, sir.
Yeah. So
What do you think is the
okay,
problem, sir?
right. So look at what happened, right? If I remove this thing here, if I remove this thing here, it will still work, right? If I remove this, it will still work. But if you can remember that when I added this all these parameters here, I didn't run my migration again, right? So any changes that I make here, because that first migration have already picked what is here. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. If you guys are getting what I'm saying.
No, yes.
Yeah, the first migration, that first one we have here have already picked the connection string here, and the SSL was not part of what was set here then. So even if I'm adding another one, it will still be picking the previous one. Yeah, so that was why I deleted the old migration and created a new one. Then if I go to my database, I should be able to see my database. And so look at my database here, books management, and I should be able to see my table, my bookstore table, which is this, with the now it is empty, right? Nothing is there yet, but it has an ID, author, book management, all these things. So this is the way you can use EF to create your database. And this is called code first approach. Code first approach. What is code first approach? You will first of all create your model, create your model, to create your context, have your connection string before you can then run your migration to create your table based on what you have on your model, right? So now we only have one object, and if you come to our context, look at the objects with the name we want it to have as our table, which is bookstores. And that's why we are having something like this here. This table here. So any questions so far?
Everything is clear.
Okay, so to go to not that to go to all right. If you can remember what we said, that we have an intention of we want to add to this here a table, right? We want to add to this here a table. We want to delete from this table. We want to get from maybe get a particular book from this here table. We want to write. So here, I want to create another class or another. What is it called now? What should I call it? I want to create a service and implementation, right? I want to create a service and implementation. So here, this is where I'm going to use interface here. So all these things that you have done, we are going to use them here. So I'm going to have a folder called services. And this pattern that I'm using to do this is called a repository. A repository, this pattern, right? I'll have services and implementation. Implementations should be just. So in this my service, we have that's called iBook. It's an interface. iBook, right? So here, this is not a class, this is an interface. Right? And this interface, I want to add a book. So I have void. If I add a book, I don't want to return anything, right? I will add void. Add book. I am passing book entity. I want to have I want to have another one that I can remove book, right? If I'm removing book, meaning that I am removing, this is singular, right? So I can have int. Let me say I can have string
ID,
right? String ISBN. If you can remember, ISBN is this unique in all books, right? So I can remove book using, if I pass in this, I can update book. So I'll stay passing book. I can get book, right? So if I'm now getting book, I want to have it as tags. You guys have done tags, right?
Asynchronous.
Huh?
Yeah.
we are not taught it like this. You not teach us like this.
Okay. Okay. So along the way, I will explain what tax is all about. So I want to get a tax, right? So now this tax here, I want to get books. Let me just remove async here. So I want to get books. So here I don't need to pass anything, right? I don't need to pass anything, right? So what this tax is doing is that tax is basically when you are running your program simultaneously, right? You know that if I click on run, right, it's going to be running all these things sequentially. But in a situation where there is a threat, it will help us in a situation where there are where some method depends on other ones, right? And if we don't use thread, there will likely be a timeout. One, there will also be an execution this problem. But if you use thread, that other method or that other function that depends on the other one, we have to wait for that other one to finish this running before it will peak. I don't know if I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
So you basically are waiting one process while another one it is running. If you don't await it, everything we be running at the same time, and there will be a this thing that timeout or either another issue that will come up. And this thing normally happens when we are talking to a database, right? When you are communicating to a database. And why I did not add this tags and this thing here is not that I cannot add them here, right? Let me see what even happened. That if you can add tags to avoid, I don't know. Yeah, of course. Let me see. You see, we cannot add it. Cannot be used in this context. Okay, yeah. So I can actually add it, but I don't need to use it in this context, right? Yeah. So the same thing, I cannot add it. Right. Okay. So here, if I'm adding a book, I'm not returning anything. If I'm removing the book, I'm not returning anything. Or I cannot decide to return a string. I cannot decide to I cannot decide to return this in string. This particular string here will be my ISBN, right? So if I'm updating a book, I can decide not to return anything. I can decide to return a book. Now, if I'm getting a book, right, I can decide to return the book objects and look at the book objects. Now look at the book objects. So if I'm returning this, it means that I am returning also the ID of the book. I am returning everything here. That is if I have this in this way. And it doesn't make sense to return all your objects, all the fields in your objects. It doesn't make sense for a security reason. One, and another thing is that there will be this situation where okay, someone don't consume your API don't want you to return this. In short, if you are returning anything, you don't need to return the primary key of that stuff, right? So there will be this situation where someone that is making use of your of this API will not like you to do this return this title or to return any of this. But if you come here and this is return it means that you are already returning all these things. So assuming that I don't want to return these commented stuffs out, I just want 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So what am I going to do? I will create another folder, right? I can call it DTO, right? This DTO here is what I want to return. So I can even even if you want to return all your objects, it's also good to have DTO. It's also good you have DTO, right? Assuming that I want to
What's the full meaning of DTO?
data transfer object, something like that. Data
Okay.
transfer object. I think right. DTO. Yeah, so if you come to Microsoft documentation, yeah, the data transfer objects. So okay, now yeah, see, good. Look at this example here. I don't even know that they have this. Look at this example here, right? This is book objects. Book objects here have an ID, is a title, year, price, author name, this. Look at the DTO. So the person that I want to make use of your API don't want you to return all these things here. It wants you to return only these three things here. So that's when you are going to create DTO and pass those things that you want to return. Right? But still, if the person still wants you to return all these things here, right? It's also good you get your DTO. Why? Because tomorrow, the person, because tomorrow you will likely come back here. Please, I want to go to our code base. Because tomorrow, where is that stuff? Because tomorrow you will likely come back here and add another thing. So as you are updating this book this model, anything that is going to return here will be all the things that you are updated here, right? So that is why it's good you get your details so that you not so that you are not going to expose all your fields here. You're not going to expose everything here, right? So you just create your DTO and expose those ones that you want people to see. So in this our case, we don't want people to be seeing this our ID, and we get a list of this thing. What's it called? Books, right? So we can come to our DTO and pass this thing here. This particular things here are what onto this in return. So instead of returning tax book, I will return tax book DTO. Is that clear?
Yes,
sorry, why can't you just put this DTO inside that model too? Why it is in another model?
Okay, yeah, good. Yeah, yes, good questions. Now, like, so we want to abstract these thoughts out so that if someone, if you are working in a place, right? If someone want to come and get used to this code base here, right? Once the person see this DTO, he or she will know that anything, all the objects in this folder here are my return types, right? Why the ones inside this my models here are my concrete classes, right? So it's not good to have your main class and your DTO inside one place. One, so that if you do it like that, it will not be readable. One, it will not be maintainable too. So it's good you just abstract everything. You have your DTO, method, folder. If anything that I want to do is return as this DTO, I will just come here and add it. Is that clear? Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so my services here, right, is this. So I will come to implementation here, right? I will create a class. I want to rename this. I want to rename it so because what you are doing now is repository pattern. So I will rename it iBook repository. So I will come to implementation here. I will create a class called book repository. And this class will implement my interface. And have this. I will inject my context here. Why am I injecting my context? I will inject where's my context again? I will inject my context here. Why is that? Because I want to query my database, right? So in my constructor, I will have a private read-only field. Private read-only, then underscore context. And this my context here. My context is equal context. Right. All right.
Listen.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it is said that once you create a constructor that takes an argument, that it is compulsory to create another one and that takes no argument.
Who said so? It's not compulsory, please. And it's not true. All right. Okay, see, right? It's not compulsory and it's not true, right? Why? Because why it is so like that? Because if you have a class, right, that implements this in book here repository class, right? You must inside that class, you must pass this application here context inside the class. Right? But in a situation where you don't want to pass, in a situation where this is not accessible in that class that's implementing this, that is when you will have an empty constructor, right? Yeah, so that once you fire that object, is going to come and check the one that corresponds to what is sending it into this class. So if the method we are passing in, the way we are implementing this, if you are passing in the context, it's going to use this constructor. But if you didn't pass anything, it's going to use this particular one, right? But you said?
I'm getting it.
Yeah. But in a situation where you didn't pass this, right? and you didn't pass this particular thing, you didn't pass the context, it's going to complain. Why? Because this class we are implementing have a constructor with context, so you must pass it. But if you didn't pass it, it means that we are going to have an empty one where that is the one that is going to use.
Okay.
So it's not actually a compulsory to have two constructors. It depends on what you want. It depends on what you want to achieve, right?
Okay.
Okay, so here, yeah. So guys, I think that we are good to go. So here now, if we are adding book, remember that we injected our context here, right? This repository is a pattern, right? We are trying to abstract everything. You know that we are talking about MVC. M stands for model, which is this, right? Where you define the objects you want to use to create the class, right? View is what you are seeing, right? What you are seeing, you know, how will I put it? You know, you guys understand now. you understand what view in MVC means.
Like
Yes.
HTML.
Yeah, cool.
Contains the HTML.
You said?
Like the web page.
Yes. Is actually what you can see, you know. Then the controller is where we have, you know, where we are doing this stuff.
Logic.
And here, right, the method or the pattern we are using in this our book stuff here is repository pattern. Repository pattern, and this is pattern some companies use. There are many patterns. There is builder pattern. There is mediator. This pattern. But the one you likely do the cargon is that a repository or this mediator, because these are the common ones, right? So the particular one we are using here is this a repository a pattern. And what is this pattern trying to tell us? It's trying to tell us that inside our RC repository class, and that is why I have a repository attached to my book to make it to call it a repository class. So inside here is where I will do my logic, come my database, have interaction with my database. Then in my controller, I don't have to do anything with database again, right? All I need to do in my controller is to make use of this class, and I am good to go, right? And inside my repository class, I'm going to have an interface that implements all the contracts. Right, so this is the interface, right? And my book is a repository. Yeah, my book is a repository implements all the contracts of this interface here. So it is in this place, in this object class that I can have access to database. I will not come to my controller. I will not come to my controller class and start to initiate a database. right? It doesn't make sense, right? Because that is already what we are trying to do in this particular class. All right. So if I want to add book now, right, I will just do underscore context. I remember that this context is my database. Dot add. I will pass book object. That is just as simple as it is. So after adding it, we will save it or save changes. This beauty of entity framework. If this is not entity, you have to write long line of code. You have to write long addo.net just to add. But entity have already had a method, so you just call the context class, and this remember the way the context class is a set, what is implemented. If you do not implement this, if I remove this, you are going to notice that this place will start to cry. So it must implement it for you to have that feature, right? So here I have added my class, my book object, right? Now I don't want to do this one yet. If I want to update book, it's just the same thing. I say context dot updates date book. So after updating it, you have context dot save changes to save the changes to your database. Updating it is not the only thing. You also need to change it to save the changes. To remove is the same concept. Dot remove. What are you removing? Okay, you are removing this. Now we are going to have an issue here, right? Why? Because we are trying to do this in string. So for us, I want to take this method off. We are going to use a link query. Going to do this here. So for us to remove book, right? We are going to make sure that the book we want to remove is even in our database, right? If the book is not in our database, then it means that we cannot remove it. It means that the book is not existing now, right? So for us to check if the book is in our database, we are going to use link. This is where we are going to use link query. What is link query? Link is kind of I'm looking for a definition, right? It's kind of a simpler way, or the fastest means of getting information out from database, right? It's kind of fastest way, the simplest way, the fastest way of getting information out from database. So, like if I want to check if a book with ISBN is in our database, right? I can say book equal, I use my context dot bookstores. I have access to these bookstores. Why? Because this bookstores is part of my DB set. If I comment out this, I will not have access to my bookstores again. Why? Because it is saying that application context does not contain a definition of bookstores, right? And if you can listen, remember when I was setting this up, I say that if we want to query our database, we are going to use link query in order to have access to this for us to query the database. So So I want to get a particular book using this that have this ISBN for me to delete it, right? So I will say my content.bookstores dot first or default. If I do dots, you are going to see many as you go on, you are going to see the use case of all this method, right? But the one we want to use now is first or default. What is first or default doing? First or default is going to go to our database, and it is going to go to our database and be checking the columns line by line. The first one it will pick is going to pick the first one that have this ISBN and delete it. But in a situation where it did not see, in a situation where it did not see it, it's going to return it as null. But if you use another type called single or default, single or this default, we also do the same thing that first or default is doing. But the difference is that when single or default check the database and is not seeing that is not seeing that particular is not seeing that particular thing, is instead of it to say return null, is going to throw an argument exception. It's going to throw an error, right? But first or default we this a return null. So for us to avoid this thing to throw an error, you see, look at this exception. It throws an exception, argument not exception, invalid operation exception. So for us to avoid this argument not exception, right, I want to return first or default. And if we check first or default, it states in throwing that argument not exception, right? But it's not throwing it the way the single or default is doing it. So here I'm going to pass my lambda expression. My lambda expression is what I will use to query the database, or is the condition that I am specifying the condition here. So I will say x, right? This x here is a parameter, right? So I say x dot ISBN is equal ISBN. I want to use this one, use more this one's other results. So is equal ISBN. This one, I know this one will definitely so change this to this, up to this. So I will check if book is equal null, right? I will just return null, right? Else, if book is not equal null, right, I will remove the book. If book is not equal null, I will remove the book, or I will delete the words. Delete. If book is not equal null, I will delete the book. So dot remove. ISBN. After removing, I will save my changes, and after saving my changes, I will return ISBN. Yeah. Any question so far? Before we do the final one and then go to our controller, we should be this after 11. By 12, we should be. Any question so far?
Question from my
remove book method. Why instead of context dot hello context dot remove in bracket? I think it's supposed to be book instead of ISBN. Why are we removing ISBN instead of the book?
You said? I didn't get that.
Check in the remove book method. In the remove book method, why are we removing ISBN instead of book?
Okay.
In line 37, why are we removing ISBN instead of book?
Why are we removing? Okay.
ISBN instead of book?
Yeah. Yes. Thank you for this. I didn't even see. Yeah. I didn't even see the construction here. Yeah. So you're making sense here, right? This ISBN here, right? It's just
Yes.
a distant string, right? It's not a book object. If we even come back here, it's going to give us an exception. Why? Because this in remove here method is expecting to remove an entity, right? I think there is also is expecting to remove an entity, right? So it means that here we have to modify what you are passing here. We have to modify what you are passing here. Even if you modify it, I want to still have my ISBN, right? Okay, yeah. Okay, yes. So if I'm modifying it here, right, I will not still remove this in string here. Wait. Before I answer that, I want to do I want to check something. Here, let me just say book one. Okay, so if I come here and say s this equal dot this here. Okay, yeah. So I don't actually use this stuff, and I don't actually do this stuff here. Right? So, and this one, so here, what are we pass here with objects? And yeah, this is the only modification I need to make. Look at what I'm doing here, right? I want to delete a particular book that have this ISBN, right? I will first of all check the database to see if that book, if there's any book with ISBN in our database. If I check the database and it is in returning null, it means that there's no book. I will just in return null. But if I check the database and there's a book with this ISBN, right? That book, that if I hover on this, you will notice that it is a returning book, right? So that particular book is what I will remove this place. After this removing it, I will save my changes. In this case, we are returning a decent string, so I will return my ISBN because my ISBN here is a decent string. Are we good?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Okay, so the final one is to get books. So here I will save books, right? As is equal context dot context dot books dot where, or I can just say dot to list. I don't need to say dot to list. Dot to list as a. So this one I will await it because so here this should be sync. Okay, but this remember that we are returning a book DTO, so this is not the right query. So all these things we are seeing here, they are called link query. Link, right? Link query. So this is not the right link query to write here because I am returning. What I'm supposed to return here is just is list. What I'm supposed to return here is list of book DTO, right? List of book DTO. So this thing here, I will still copy it. This one is complete. This here. So here to get list of this, so I will say dot select. I'll use select because select we're going to give you hyperlink. Select dot x. It's a new book DTO. Author is equal x dot author. Date publish is equal s dot date publish. Name is equal s dot name. ISBN is equal s dot ISBN. Sure. S dot sure. Title is right. I'll do dot so this async. So here I will return books. Is that clear?
It is not clear.
Huh? You said?
It is not clear. Why are we saying author equals to x dot? What do they represent? X dot author, x dot. Okay. So that x
Okay.
is standing for distance from bookstores,
Okay, so
right? Hello,
your
sir.
voice your voice is breaking.
Okay, let me change my position. I mean the x in the link query. Hello, sir.
Okay. Yes, I can hear you.
Now, the X in the link query stands for an instance for each instance of bookstores that is in the list, right?
Yes, so this X in this I think put it right. This thing is called it's called this lambda expression, right.
Yes.
It's called lambda expression, right. So it's used to have access to all the properties that's that is your table. In this case, bookstores, right? And 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 this select here is this a returning queryable? Is this a returning queryable? That is in list. If I do first or default here, all this thing will start to complain, right? Because this first or default here is not going to return queryable. I cannot loop through this, right? But
Okay.
if I use my select, this select is just like for each, right? It just like you doing for each, like just like you're having a list, right? You will now do for each by
For each
item in that
display
list.
each one of the item. Okay.
So that item dot this it just kind of x dot this. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, it is.
Okay. Yes, is my table, is the table that have all the information of books. Exactly. Yes. Ah, look at my spelling. And if I change it here, I have to go to I have to run a migration again. Please, I will. Okay, so after this, the final thing to do here is to go to controller. We're going to create an empty controller, right? An API, an empty API controller. I can call it controller. So it will inherit from controller base, right? Excuse me, I have to get. So yeah, just a minute, please.
Okay.
So this is my controller class, right? And in my controller, right, I can a controller. Wait, I want to understand. You guys are doing API now, right?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you guys already know what API verb
HTTP. Yeah.
uh,
Get, post,
HTTP
patch.
is doing. So post, right? Post is basically used to add an entity, right? Post is used to add an entity. So yeah, I want to add book. So here, I will pass it as body. I will pass it from the body. I will not use the normal way we are passing an object here, please. You don't come and say and say book. Let's say book. That come and start to write your code here, right? You can actually do this, but it's not the best thing because it's good. You are going to have an issue if when you are trying to when you are trying to listen, when you are trying to listen, realize what you are doing, right? You are going to adjusting will give you, and that is very big issue. And the front end guy, or if you are the front end that is making use of your that making use of this API, you are going to have a very big issue, right? So it's just good to have it, to pass it as that is to pass it on the body, right? Then you have what you want to pass as this. Now, if you did stay past this, even without issue, say you are going to, yeah, but it's just good to just have it as this, right? Uh, so here we are going to validate what you are passing, because this API, we are building it for people to use, right? So you are exposing it for people to use, and you don't know what they are passing, right? So you have to specify. You have to validate anything that's coming into this place. So what is the first thing I will do? I will check if this book is null, right? If this book is null, I will return that request, right? I can return it with a message. I can say valid this, right? So yeah, I can have this message when this book is null. If the book is not null, right? Well, before this now, right, I have to before this, I have to bring in my iBook. My iBook, my iBook is a repository class. So I have a repository class. If I didn't bring in this, you know that this particular one have all our implementation rights. But assuming that I don't have this already, we have to bring in my this database here as I to do all these things I did here inside this my controller class. But controller class is supposed to have just small lines of code, right? So that's why we just abstracted all these things here, so that in my controller class, I will just inject this and start to have access to anything I want to do. I have written the iBook repository as a book repository. So can use underscore here. Yeah, I will say, yeah, so with this I have here, I don't even need this validation again because I am already doing this in my distance. So I'll just say, so I will still remove it. I'll just say babu, right, is equal repository dot add book, right? I will say, okay, yeah, so is a void is a method. So I will return okay. Okay, so
You have to add to. I think you have to save to the database.
you said?
After line 25, I think the next thing should be to save to the database
No,
to save changes.
no, we have already done that in
That's
this
inside
place.
the oh,
Yes.
okay.
Let's my controller again. Okay, yeah. So this is for ad book. I want to just copy this, right? Yeah, I have this. This I have a move book. I have a remove book. This one here, remove book. This remove book is taking, I think it's taking a screen, right? ISBN.
He's taking ISBN.
ISBN. So in this case, I don't have this. I don't need to do this validation here because it is already done in this other side. So here I can book to remove is equal this, right? I'll now say if to remove is equal now, return bar request. Yes. Okay. Deleted. I'll put and remove so this one will be HTTP delete. So another one we are going to have is the one that updates, right? HTTP put. This is update. Update book. So here I still have book objects. So here it's and it's not returning anything. Is a void. So here it's a book explain. So the last one is gets the one that gets or the book. This get books. Are we passing anything? Okay. So here, let me see.
I think it's supposed to be get instead of put. HTTP get.
Okay, I'm coming. So here I'm going to return. I'm going to return. Gosh, okay. I mistakenly. Okay. So here I'm going to return books. Okay. Gets. Okay, yeah, guys. So I think that we are good to go now to test this stuff. So if you run this program now, okay, yeah, it will not still work, right? So we have to register our this thing, our interface here, our scope. So builder.service dot our scope. IBO pository. Yeah. Okay, I think with this we are good to go. If we have any error, then means that we have to debug. But all things being equal, I don't think that there should be an issue. All right. We have our book management API. This get books here is definitely we return an empty list. Nothing is going to return anything. See, returning 500. Yeah, so this one is basically the SNC serializer. Yeah, that as much. Have you guys done log? That is this ER login. Hello. Have you guys? Nice. Okay. Okay. I would have added it here so that we are going to see what is causing this, right? But yes, so but for what we did, do we get the concept of the EF and everything? I'm going to look into that stuff. I'm going to add a log and see where that errors coming. But even with that, I can basically yeah. So I can have this. But this shouldn't be the issue anyway. But let me see. I can have this. So this basically comes by I action results. Yeah. Okay, so as you can see, it is returning an empty list, right? Because there's no information in this table, right? So why I was getting that long stuff before, right? Was because this get books here is an async. Is awaitable if I hover on it, right? You are going to see awaitable there. But before I was not awaiting the method here, right? So as it was trying to run, is seeing the block here as awaitable. But the I action this result, you know that this I action this result will return any type of data type I given it to. If I hover on it, it defines a contract that represents the result of an action this method, right? There's action. There's action. This is a result. This particular one will return the exact data type you want it to return. But in the situation where you don't know the one, it's better use I action, right? So that's why I action is being used everywhere. Now, to even avoid this thing, we can also replicate what we have here. in every other one. In every other one. It's good you make your destiny to be awaited. So this is this, this is this, this is this, this is this. So I want to test other methods anyway. See, anyone that didn't work, then I'm going to zip this stuff and send to us. I'll send to that our group. So I know that you are occupied with many things now, right? But anytime you are, I don't think that is something that you even have to take your time, right? I want you to add a method. I want you to add an API to this one that can return a particular book using ISBN. If I pass in ISBN, it will return a particular book have that ISBN. Is that clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you see. So now another thing, right? If I'm adding book, right? I'm not supposed to add the ID because this ID here, right, is my key. Can someone tell me why I am seeing this particular ID here?
Like the default value for integer.
Yeah, I think I don't know the first one as well. I think it's here Joshua or yeah, I can see. So it's because I am passing all the objects of my I am passing all my book this I'm passing the objects here, right? And the objects still have my ID, right? So if I want to add the book, right, I'm going to create a DTO that doesn't have this ID, right? And then pass it to that place so that I'll not be able to see this ID. Because this ID is supposed to be generating from your database, right? Is key. So you're not expecting or you are not expected to be seeding it here. That is to be adding it alone. So it's something that is generating from the database. But that's by the way, I can just add something. If we didn't add, they have to debug. That will not be now. The main thing is there that I hope you guys get the concept now.
Yes, very well.
Yes, sir.
Eloquent scripts.
Eloquent JavaScript.
The book name Eloquent JavaScript. Who is this author again, Seth?
It's the name of the book.
Huh?
I think it's the name of the book. Eloquent JavaScript.
Yes, Eloquent JavaScript. So it's the name of the book. So it's in the book name now, right? Let's publish. I want to get rid of this one. Let me see. 1,000 title. Just testing. Oh yeah. I don't know if you add or but it's supposed to add anyway. It's supposed to add. Yeah. Oh, good added to the database. So let's go to our database. But before going to our database, we can get books. So it's supposed to bring out that book. Yeah. Okay. So guys, so you see the book that I just added to the database now. This. I go to database. Get this. You see. My ID one is that the author name, the book name, the publisher, this and this. So if you want to, I want to add another one so that we can delete, right? I want to add another one. I will still add this particular one anyway. I don't modify anything. Okay, so I have added this one again. To get the books, I have the same thing. So I want to remove one of these. Oh, you see how this thing is coming up. This is not how it's supposed to be. Please, this is not supposed to be. I have to make some modifications here. And because it might even give some errors, so I don't know. Okay, book deleted successfully. But it works, right? But this is not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be it's supposed to be in this ingesting form. So I just deleted one book, right? So I want to add that one again. No, I want to, okay, the last method that I have to test is the update, right? So so that's actually a mistake here, right? So if you're updating a book, right, I'm supposed to, I'm expecting you give me an ID of a book that you want to update. So if you give me the ID, like let's say that ISBN, I'll now query the database and check if the book is in the database, just like the way we did when we are deleting, right? So if the book is in the database, I will get the object of that book and then modify it. But in this case here, right, if I'm deleting, this will not likely work. This will not likely work. The ID, let me pass my ID of 1 and send everything. Let me see what will happen. You see, I know that it will not work. So this one needs to be modified. So update needs to be modified. But I'm happy that we can add, we can remove, we can get books. This particular one is just to modify one or two things there. It's just like the way we did it to remove it. I'm going to get the book first, check if the book is existing. If the book is existing, we can map it to anything we want to update and then pass it. Yeah, so guys, that is end of our section. Okay. It's already after 12. So any questions so far?
Everything is fine. Thank you so very much, sir. Thank you for
It is fine. Thank you very much, sir. Oh.
Thank you.
This is awesome, sir.
That's cool. So like I said, someone should get the list of the stuff you guys have done from week 1 to this particular week, except this particular one that I just covered now. Yeah, so that we'll see how we can go about it. And
yes, sir. You did not You do not make mention of pagination. Are we going to do that one some other time?
Okay, so pagination will likely I don't know how much today will be. Today is Tuesday. It's already after 12. Okay, so pagination will likely be tonight. That is, by either 8 p.m. or 9 p.m. today. I'm going to get across. If it will not hold, I'm going to get across to us. But it will likely hold today because tomorrow I will not be chance. So if it didn't hold today, it means that it will not be it will be till Thursday, right? But pagination is not something like that is kind of complex. And anyway, we are going to look at it either today or Thursday. Then another thing I should ask you guys to do, please, you see that book that I sent to you guys, right? Everything you need in API is there. The book and is this is straightforward? Is kind is not even kind of it is straightforward, right?
Yes, sir. We are unable to download it.
We
are unable to
checked
download it.
I think it's a site, sir.
We are unable to download the book.
So okay, so you cannot download the book. I think I have the PDF, but it's in my disk, it's in my hard drive. But okay, so I'm going to send the PDF. Yeah, the PDF is not in the system; it's in my hard drive. I'm going to send the PDF. But aside that, any concept that you don't understand, you can just search for that concept in that book. The way they are explaining their things is, it's kind of straightforward, right?
Okay, sir.
So that's it. I'm going to zip this and send to us and send to the group that
Yes, sir.
We can do the other one.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay. Bye, sir.
Yeah.